It's time for the F's in chat, my friends. The Vancouver Titans have released an open letter to their fans, and basically generally everyone who's been wondering what's been going on at the Vancouver Titans. So, to sum everything up, a couple of weeks ago, I think it was a couple of weeks ago now, we saw that most of the Titans players had taken all of their Vancouver branding down, and we wondered what was going on, and we all heard that there was an implosion going on at Vancouver, but Vancouver had actually been very quiet about it until earlier this week when they released Janu and Pajon. Then Andante left, so they were down 2 coaches and an off-tank, and they didn't have an off-tank for this weekend's fixtures. But now we have the letter that I think we've been waiting for. So, I'm going to read it, and we are going to know now what is happening at the Vancouver Titans. So, it says, "We would like to thank Titans fans for your patience during this difficult period. The organisation and the team have been dealing with a very complicated situation which included sensitive information and player confidentiality made even more challenging by the COVID-19 pandemic. We, as an organisation, want to ensure we communicate effectively and will continue to try to get better in this regard as we grow as an esports team and an esports organisation. At the start of the season, the team and the organisation's spirits were at an all-time high. The team was ready to avenge their grand finals loss and contend once again for an Overwatch League championship. We were excited for the players to experience Vancouver as their new home, and we were ready to introduce them to you through content and events throughout the season, as they settled into their new home away from home at Adama's Esports Training Performance." So, the partnership with Adama's Esports Training and Performance gave the team a world-class facility to call home, located in one of the top human performance centres in the country, Vancouver obviously, Fortius Sport and Health. Adama's also provided them with a built-in esports training centre that came with chef-prepared meals, top-end equipment for both gaming and fitness, and access to physical training and mental health resources. We were set up for success and were ready for the first season of home and away matches, including 2 homestands here in Vancouver. The team started the season with 2 convincing wins, but meanwhile the impact of COVID-19 was being felt across the globe and all businesses were being affected, including ours. With cancelled homestands and travel increasingly limited, the players were bound to their training facility home. Once it became apparent that this would be an extended situation, and out of an abundance of caution, the players were flown to their homes in South Korea to be with their families. Our initial plan was for the team to join the Asian division and continue to play the new schedule from the comfort of the players' homes. But it was quickly apparent that this created a whole new set of challenges. The time difference made it difficult for management and the home fan base to connect with the team, and technical challenges for the players playing from home further exacerbated the situation. With the organisation unable to meet the players' expectations in Korea, and after much deliberation and conversation with the players, the difficult decision was made to move the team back to the North American division, and both the players and management agreed that finding a new home for the players would be in everyone's best interest. The following players' staff have since agreed to mutually part ways with the team: Haxel, Sominsu, Slime, Stitch, Twilight, Rouge Hong, Yang Won, and Andante. The team has also released Fisher. Just noticing that they've released Fisher. It wasn't a mutual thing, they released Fisher. From all of us at the Vancouver Titans organisation, we would like to thank these players and coaches for the positive memories we've had, of course highlighted with an appearance in the Overwatch League Grand Finals in our first season. These players were able to leave a lasting impression on fans from around the world. We wish them all the best as they move on in their careers. I think that lasting impression was from Runaway, not Vancouver. Anyway, there are so many young, talented and passionate Overwatch players who dream of playing at the pinnacle of competitive play. We are excited to tell you that we will be supporting that path to pro, and in future announcements we'll share our plan, which will include introducing our new core of Vancouver Titans players, along with how we will help aspiring young players make a leap into professional play. That's an interesting word to say. Our goal from the beginning has been to create an environment that can embody what competitive Overwatch means for those in Vancouver. Aligning with our core values, we will always aspire to be a team that believes in community and engaging with the fans, that love watching them every minute of the game, every minute of every game and beyond, if I could talk. We recognise that we have a lot to learn and want to make sure that we can do all we can to improve and deliver a great team for our fans and Vancouver. Our force of nature is a collective one, and we know that we need to step up our game in order to truly make that force felt across the league for years to come. We look forward to announcing our new roster of Titans in the coming days. We hope that you join us as we move into this new chapter of Vancouver Esports. Sincerely, Tim Holloway, Esports Director, Aquilini Entertainment. So, let's go over this then. That is an abysmal excuse. Don't even start with me, Vancouver. That is an abysmal excuse. You say it here, right? So, With the organisation unable to meet the players' expectations in Korea, and the time difference made it difficult for management and a home fan base to connect with the team. Excuse me, there is a team called New York Excelsior competing in Asia right now, and there's a bit of a time difference there as well. That's not an excuse, Vancouver. That is really not an excuse. Step it up. That's not an excuse at all. Don't include that. That's absolute bull. That is. Don't. That's absolute rubbish. And then it goes on to say, technical challenges for the players playing from home further exacerbated the situation. It's funny how other teams have got around it, Vancouver. There seems to be a lot of excuses here that simply have been dealt with by other teams in the league. There are some teams that are in very fortuitous situations, like the London Spitfire, who have the Cloud9 facility, but other teams don't have that. New York don't have that from what I know, and they've sorted it out. So a lot of the excuses I'm seeing in this are just honestly rubbish. They are just rubbish. There has clearly been an absolutely massive breakdown between the owners and the management at Aquilini and other parties involved. We'll say that, and the management and the players. I think this is absolutely ridiculous to be using excuses like time difference when you've got other teams like London Spitfire and New York Excelsior, teams like that are competing, yes, with all Korean rosters in Asia, but they are competing for teams that are going to be at a really weird time. Not so much London, because London are going to be playing actually 11 a.m. in the morning, but New York are at crazy times in the morning for their fans. So it's just a bit of a stupid excuse. It's a stupid excuse. I don't like that excuse. It's just rubbish, to be quite honest with you. So let's just gloss over that. So in terms of what happens now, I find it very interesting in what they've said in the later parts of this statement. So it says that in future announcements, they will share their plans on, which will include introducing the new Vancouver Titans players, understandably, but also along with how we will help aspiring young players make the leap into professional play. That indicates to me that there may be a Vancouver Titans Academy team coming. That's the only thing I could have thought that would be an indication of. Now, in terms of the roster that Vancouver Titans are going to pick up, we are almost certain that it will be a North American contenders team, because, as they've said in this statement, they are based in NA, and they want an NA team. They can't go for a Korean team, so it's not going to be, they're not going to go doing anything ridiculous like picking up Gen.G or Element Mystic or anything like that. It's not going to be happening, because, well, apparently you can't have a team that is owned in NA, but competes in Korea or Asia. Apparently that doesn't happen. Anyway, so it's going to be a North American contenders team. Now, someone did tweet just after this announcement was made with the picture of a clock and a pair of eyes, and that was Third Impact. Now, Third Impact have been heavily linked with Vancouver Titans in the past week or so. Again, we don't know who is going to be the one to be picked by the Titans. I'm sure everyone will be chomping at the bit in NA to have their chance and shot at the Overwatch League. There is plenty of really, really good talent in North America. When we've seen the team that has just been dropped by Team Envy, that's now Team Doge, that's another really great team there that could be picked up. So it'll be interesting to see what the Vancouver Titans go with. But, and I hate to say this about contenders in NA, but whatever it is, it's not going to be on the skill level of the roster they had. I mean, this was OG Runaway right here, and it no longer is. They are all now individuals looking for teams, and they are looking for teams in the Overwatch League. And in that case, that leads me on to the second point, is what happens to the players and the coaches that were at the Vancouver Titans, because they are now looking for teams. They've all been putting out their tweets saying looking for teams in the Overwatch League. And that would add up to me saying, well, they all want teams in Korea, right? So that really narrows it down to Shanghai Dragons, New York Excelsior, London Spitfire, Guangzhou Charge, Hangzhou Spark, Chengdu Hunters. There's only 7 teams in Asia, and that's the teams it could be. It's not going to be the Chengdu Hunters because they are a Chinese team and they have a Chinese roster. That's what Chengdu Hunters do. Fair play to them. So that leaves 6 teams. London Spitfire have a full 12-man roster. So unless they're going to let someone go, it's not going to be London. So I'm going to rule them out. So that leaves us with 5 teams. I don't think it... Well, I mean, it could be New York. It could be New York. But that's going to be a lot of competition for places at New York. And if any of these players get added to New York, that's going to be incredible. Shanghai, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised for Shanghai to pick up one of these players. But this could be, and if they can afford them, this could be monumental for someone like Hangzhou or Guangzhou. If they shift out a few players, imagine if, say, just Guangzhou added someone like Jianu. That would be massive. I'm not saying Krong's bad, but Jianu's better, let's be honest. Imagine if Hangzhou added Twilight and Slime. I mean, that's a massively improved support line for the Hangzhou Spark. And then they can add someone like Haxel or Sominsu. There is a possibility that one of these Asian teams could benefit massively from what's happened at the Vancouver Titans. Massively. And all of these people, all of these players, Rouge Hong, Twilight, Stitch, Slime, Sominsu, Haxel, Remember Bumper, he does still exist. I'm not going to include Fisher because I don't think anyone's going to pick up Fisher. And obviously Jianu, who left a little bit earlier in the week. All of these players are Overwatch League level. And it'll be incredibly interesting to see what happens. It'll also be interesting to see if any of them want to try and return to Runaway, because Runaway do have a few XL players now. And I'm sure that Flowervin and Runner would open arms to having anyone back. But obviously there's the idea of the coaches, Yangwon and Dante, and Pajon as well. Yangwon was with the Runaway as they moved across. Again, really good coaching staff, so we'll see what happens there. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting run up to the weekend because we're going to know a new Vancouver roster and we'll see what happens with these players. I really do hope that we get to see all these players back in the Overwatch League because they are fantastic players and they don't deserve to be outside of the Overwatch League. They deserve to be plying their trade at the very highest level of Overwatch. And it's an incredible opportunity for you guys in Asia, please. I mean, as a London fan, I wouldn't mind if we let go of a few players and picked up some of these darn good players, but I don't think that's going to happen somehow. But there's an incredible opportunity here, and it'll be very interesting to see what happens. But that's going to be rounding it out for this one. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video. See you then.